Welcome, everybody. These are our first Nonprofit News Awards, and the judges' reactions were amazing around the excellence of everything we saw. So thank you to all of you who entered. We are really thrilled to celebrate the finalists, announce the winners in 9 categories, and celebrate and honor the community service, the superb reporting, and the leadership that are really hallmarks of nonprofit news and why this field is growing so much. We have 5 categories today, tiered by the size of the news outlet, and 4 categories have an overall winner across all sizes.
And Sue, I do want to let you know, you are appearing as a mysterious miasma on our screens. I'm not sure what's covering your camera.
How is that?
There you are. Hi, Sue.
Thank you. I had a little night foundation slider across that I didn't realize. So thank you so much for letting me know that. I'm here, not a disembodied voice. So going back, we have the 5 categories that are tiered for overall, and after the winners will share honorable mentions in categories where judges named them. We're going to move fast, but you'll also get a chance to see some cool how we did it presentations. And we will take a minute to remember those in our field who have passed on this past year. The winners were chosen by panels of judges, mostly from nonprofit newsrooms, some academics, but everyone outside of the categories they judged. And we owe them a huge thanks. So hit chat, put up your emojis, join us in thanking the judges, the California News Publishers Association, and the Society of Professional Journalists who helped us figure out how to organize the contest. We also thank the INN General support funders who make this possible. Among them, Democracy Fund, Jonathan Logan Family Foundation, Knight Foundation, MacArthur, Present Progressive Fund, and Spitzer Trust. And a shout out here for Michelle Morgante, who is INN's member network director, as you know. She put this whole thing together so the world can better recognize your amazing work. Finally, we have a really nice surprise for you. INN recently got an unusual grant. You may have read about it. Fortune magazine, an artist known as People Pleaser, and the cryptocurrency platform Endowment auctioned a non-fungible token of Fortune's cover artwork, and they donated the proceeds to INN to support nonprofit news. Their generosity, combined with all of the entry fees from those of you who entered, are being redirected to the winners. That means these awards will come with a cash prize for the top winners. $500 to each winner in a tiered category, $1,000 to each winner of an overall reward. And so we hope you can put the certificate on your wall and use that money to do more great reporting. So with that, adding perhaps to the anticipation, we invite you to participate as we celebrate your incredible work. So chat, react, share on social. Winners, please feel free, give us a wave when your name is called and enjoy the celebration. Bridget, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sue. We are so excited to have you here today. So you'll notice the hashtags we're inviting you to share on social, and keep an eye on the chat because we're going to share out there the Twitter thread where we will be celebrating all your work today. But you'll notice that one of them is Innies 2021. All right, so you got your Grammys, you got your Emmys, you got your Tonys, and now you've got your Innie Awards. That is what we have decided to call these today. So here is the run of show for the afternoon. Let me pull up this slide. You may want to screenshot this. This is going to be your guide. Consider this your program for today. We invite you again to use the chat as I see you are, as I announce the winners. And winners, if you're here, please, we want to see you. We would love for you to post in the chat your comments as well. And I want to add a special award, okay, in honor of the Slack notification noise that came up earlier today. Each winner will also receive a complimentary package of hummus to celebrate being here today. Jeff's excited. We love to see it. I have not cleared this with the Sue, so I'm just making promises now, and I am drunk with power. I'm also going to invite you, if once you see that Twitter link in the chat, open that up if you want, so you can share out and celebrate the winners as we post them in the thread there. We're going to have a blog post afterward with all of the winners with links available to their work, which we will share, so you can see all this incredible work for yourself. Okay, lastly, we're going to run a practice round here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen If you can, I want you to put everyone in gallery. Oh, it's so nice to see all your faces. You're looking lovely this evening. Who are you wearing? So get your reaction ready, or just get the best hand gesture you have to signal Zoom applause as we kick off the first ever Nonprofit News Awards.
Yay!
Yay! All right, so that's what we're going to be doing after each category that I announce. We have some divisional categories, and then we also have some that are overall categories, where, as Sue mentioned, we are going to get to hear from the winners. Are you ready to get started? Everybody, let me see it. Yes, there we are. There's the hands. All right, thank you so much. So our first category today is for the community champion. And this is honoring those INN member organizations that made significant contributions to the well-being of their communities through a journalism-centered project or service. So here's the way this is going to work. I am going to bring up the different divisions. We've got small, medium, large, and super. I will reveal through the magic of the internet the winner. And then we're going to share honorable mentions for those categories where there are honorable mentions. And we'll do the applause round once we get through all of the winners in the category. Are we good? Are we excited? All right, with no further ado, the envelope, please. In the small division, the INI goes to Open Vallejo for their coverage of the Vallejo Police Department. And for each winner, please share your congratulations in the chat. I will be sharing the comments from the judges. So for this entry, judges commented on the quality of Open Vallejo's work, particularly as a new outlet. It launched in July 2020 with its first investigation into a police ritual, bending the points of badges to mark killings. As the only investigative newsroom in a news desert, Open Vallejo is keeping the police department and government accountable to the public. We thank you for your work, Open Vallejo. And as promised, we have our honorable mentions for Community Champion, Cicero Independiente, and El Timpano. Thank you so much for your work as well, and congratulations. All right, we're getting into our stride. We're sharing it out. We're going to the next envelope for the medium division. The INI goes to, is the suspense so exciting? The Beacon, for connecting to their community ahead of the 2020 election. Many organizations publish election guides, but few do it with this level of outreach and impact. The Beacon worked with community partners to connect to disenfranchised and discriminated voters and published election guides in 5 languages, helping people figure out how to vote in a pandemic. The guides were distributed all over, but especially in zip codes with low voter turnout. Their reporting also led to higher security on election websites, young people signing up to be poll workers, and the installation of more ballot boxes in communities. We applaud them for partnering left and right and responding in real time to election barriers. Congratulations to the Beacon. And our honorable mentions go to the Highlands Current, Oklahoma Watch, and Voice of OC. In the large division, the INI goes to Block Club Chicago. We are so impressed with the dedication to community shown by Block Club in standing up its coronavirus hotline. While many newsrooms eventually copied aspects of their approach, Block Club was one of the first to realize the important direct role newsrooms could play in keeping their communities safe by sharing trustworthy, accurate information person by person. Their service to community is a strong tribute to the values they hold in their newsroom. Great job, Block Club. Our honorable mentions go to Public Source and the City. And our last award, our last INI in the Community Champion category goes to the Marshall Project. This package is exceptionally well reported, and it covers a community that is easily ignored and rarely written about in a way that recognizes prison inmates as fellow human beings. The investigative reporting turned up stories essential for the wider community's COVID-19 response and likely saved lives. Partnering with major news outlets expanded the impact. And our honorable mentions go to Cal Matters and the Oakland side. All right, so here's our test. Put on that gallery view. Look at all of our lovely faces. Congratulations to the community champions. Yay. Amazing, amazing work. All right, I am so excited now to share with you the first of our 4 overall categories. So this isn't divided by size. This goes to one INN member whose work really exemplified the category this year. And I'm also excited because you are going to get to hear from them directly. So we recorded brief videos, but a good interview to give you a sense of their work between 5 and 10 minutes that we'll be able to hear from them. So this Startup of the Year award goes to a young organization for establishing strong journalism and the revenue, reader, and community support to sustain it. And the INI goes to Mississippi Free Press. Mississippi Free Press is doing super impressive work on all fronts. Journalism that doesn't just inform Mississippians, but also leads the way for national readers and media outlets. They have created a statewide presence in a short period of time, and they clearly have very strong growth in revenue size and diversity. Their projects are innovative and approach the audience as partner, and they are performing genuinely leading edge work on building a young, diverse audience. Our honorable mentions for Startup of the Year go to the 19th, Block Club Chicago, the City, and Sahan Journal. And now I'm so excited to turn things over to Courtney in the past. You didn't know this award show was going to have time travel, and we'll be able to hear from Mississippi Free Press. Can everyone see Courtney? Fabulous, thank you.
On behalf of INN, I am just so excited to congratulate you and your whole team at Mississippi Free Press for winning Startup of the Year. It is so exciting and it's such an honor to really take a moment and acknowledge your hard work. I was reading your nominee letter, and it talked about Mississippi Free Press covering issues in a way, in an in-depth way that really respects readers' intelligence. And the whole point of your journalism is to give people the information they need to take action into their own hands. So how has it been? How has your community being impacted by approaching your journalism in this way?
I think that's a really fine point of respecting the intelligence, particularly of Mississippians, because people often disrespect Mississippians. And really hearing and engaging with all of our Mississippi communities. I'm not on the journalism side, I'm the publisher, but as a Black woman in Mississippi, it's really important for me for us to reflect and talk with all of our communities. One of the things I always say is, if you look at national media, or you look at a lot of statewide media, sometimes it's Black and white and mostly middle class, and sometimes they'll throw in a poor person or a rural person, but we're a tapestry. I get invited to all kinds of weddings and religious observances from all kinds of people, and people don't know that about Mississippi. A lot of our media hasn't actually done a great job of reflecting the largest minority population, which is our Black population. And what we wanted to do is to really reflect the tapestry. And when you reflect your state and you talk with your state, what you're saying is, I believe you, I believe in your intelligence, I believe in your sophistication, I believe in your ability to make decisions about your own community.
We believe very strongly that people here can handle the truth, because history and context is so important to all of our reporting, and we call it our reporting systemic reporting. And there's a lot of tough history that has been, I like to say, robbed from us as Mississippians, Black and white and other.
beyond black and white, and we all need to know that history together. And we believe very strongly that if we can't together face that that truth, about how we got here in various ways to this place, that will never really fix anything. 2020, it's a crazy year. 2021 wasn't much easier. Can you really talk about what it's been like, getting this newsroom off the ground in the middle of so much turmoil in the country, really in the world, with the elections and COVID? How's it been just sort of starting your news organization in the middle of all that? Well, it's been crazy. But we hadn't really planned to start when we started. We were already planning the Mississippi Free Press. Ashton, our senior reporter, and I had already worked together at the Jackson Free Press, and we were planning, okay, we'll start rolling out some big stories, slowly, but not doing so much daily news and until we beef up the staff, right? So when we went home for COVID, Ashton and I were texting as always, and I just said to him, it's like so much is going on, we need to be reporting. And he said, let's go. And we didn't have a website yet. We kind of threw up a temporary website in the beginning and just started reporting. Now, the good news is that we knew what we were doing from doing journalism for so long in Mississippi, that we were able to kind of hit the ground running. And Ashton already he's in South Mississippi, so we're kind of used to working remotely, and we already had good systems for how you work with people off site. And so those systems helped a lot. We just kind of kicked in with those systems. And then it just, we like to say, you start out running it like a campaign, and that's the way we were. And I think we were so driven by this idea that we had to get the news out there, and we were particularly worried about that they weren't covering, giving us demographics around race and gender, and we were worried about the safety precautions and how the governor was really dragging his feet. So we really started putting pressure out there very quickly, which is what got us picked up in national media so quickly. It's just that we were doing that, and we really feel like other media followed us into that. And so it was hard. But the truth is, in the beginning, it was people working at home, and you just get it done. And I have to say, we already had good source bases, which is one of the things that that we have across the board, and that we've built for 19 years, in Mississippi. So we know who to call across in inclusive communities, and so we just started doing it, and kind of, I think, kind of in the spirit of talking about a startup, I guess, kind of used the entrepreneurial spirit in a sense to just take advantage of the moment. And I hope that doesn't come across in a crass way. I don't mean it that way, but the moment needed what we could do. And so we just did it. So
thank you so much to Mississippi Free Press. We will have these videos available, the full videos, for everyone to see. I'm just going to do a quick quality control check here. Just a couple people in the comments. Were you able to hear that okay?
Yep.
Is the video working okay? All right, fabulous. Thank you so much. All right, so please join me in a round of applause for our startup of the year, Mississippi Free Press. Congratulations. Amazing, amazing work. All right, we are moving right along. Our next category, and I will share screen again in just a moment here, is breaking barriers. This is an award that honors reporting bringing new understanding to an issue or topic affecting people or communities that are historically underrepresented, disadvantaged, or marginalized, and that results in impactful change. I'm so excited to announce these winners to you in the small division for Breaking Barriers. The Innie goes to Cicero Independiente, whose coverage of anti-Black racism deserves congratulations for all the careful context and overall approach the staff took to this sensitive subject. The reporting, such as how to talk to older Latinx residents, has a focus on actions to be taken moving forward, and the perspective of the community is central to every aspect of this project. The newsroom has continued to thoughtfully engage with this subject as the conversation continues. Awesome job, Cicero Independiente. And so many honorable mentions in this category. We've got Borderless, California Health Report, Mississippi Free Press, who you just heard from, and Voices of Monterey Bay, doing incredible, incredible work at breaking barriers. And our next Innie goes to MLK 50. At its best, nonprofit news advocates for its community, fighting abuses of power. MLK 50 delivered on that highest calling in a big way and has the impact to show for it. Reporter Carrington J. Tatum broke the story of the use of eminent domain to take land from Black homeowners for a pipeline in Southwest Memphis. He laid bare the stories of homeowners who found themselves in what they saw as an unwinnable fight, highlighting the real human impact of what could easily have been a stale legal story. That humanity inspired protests and political activity, which informed more reporting in a virtuous cycle. Tatum's dogged reporting paid off. Within 6 months, developers of the pipeline dropped the project. MLK 50's work embodies the Breaking Barriers Award, and we are honored to recognize them today. Our honorable mentions go to the Midwest Center for Investigative Reporting, Mission Local, Oklahoma Watch, and Sahan Journal. Congratulations and thank you for your work. All right, the envelope, please. In the large division, the winner is, the Innie goes to, the city. This reporting is vivid and full of voices. The city's reporting on immigrant delivery workers also felt timely and urgent and powerful. New York City passed a sweeping set of laws just 2 weeks ago to help address many of the problems presented in these stories. An honorable mention goes to the Nevada Independent. All right, last but not least, in the Breaking Barriers category, the Innie goes to Retro Report, which highlighted a century-old problem that has profoundly affected a large number of women of color, both those providing care and the expectant mothers who need help. The piece spoke with people acting to address the problem directly in the community most affected and provided the clear benefit of the work being done. The piece provided both historical context and powerful modern-day examples of how the traditional medical system is failing expectant mothers of color. Wonderful work, Retro Report. And we also want to be sure to recognize our honorable mentions, CPI, Honolulu Civil Beat, and Yes Magazine. All right, it's time. Break out those emojis. We're going to celebrate. Let's have a round of applause for our Breaking Barriers winners today. Congratulations. Amazing job. Congratulations, everyone. All right. Got one more category here, which is Journalism Partnership of the Year. This is another overall category, one more category, and then we will remember people who leave the field lost and then pause for a little break. And so this is for a partnership that exemplifies this culture of sharing and cooperation in nonprofit news. And again, this is just one winner for this category. For all of our members, the Innie goes to SJV Water and CCIJ. This entry rose to the top of a very competitive field because it so beautifully illustrates 3 key aspects of news partnerships. 1, the partners chose areas of strength that complemented each other, which allowed them to achieve reporting together that would have been challenging or impossible separately, as a one-person newsroom being supported by 8 staff members at CCIJ. 2, Their partnership exponentially increased the impact of the reporting, with the story being co-published by the New York Times and translated for republishing opportunities in Mexico, Central America, South America, and Africa. Finally, the scale of the data investigation, which involved sifting through, wait for it, more than 1 million records, was combined with photographs, animation, and graphics to create a compelling and clear narrative for a complex subject. So we're going to hear from SJV Water and CCIJ in just a moment. But as I mentioned, this was a very competitive category, and we have a lot of honorable mentions to give out for all these wonderful partnerships. Bridge, Michigan, the Circuit, which is made up of those newsrooms that you see there, the Great Lakes News Collaborative, News 414, so much incredible work happening across the ecosystem in terms of journalism partnerships. So let's give our applause to all of those great partnerships. Yes, break out the hands, do a little dance, whatever you want to do. Yay! Thank you, Kimberly. I see you. Good job. And with that, I am going to turn things over to Jonathan, also in the past, because we have perfected time travel, as I mentioned here at INN, and we can hear more from our winners. Here you go, Jonathan.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I'm here with Lois Henry and Jeff Kelly Lowenstein. Lois of SJV Water, Jeff of the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism. First off, let me just begin by congratulating you on this award and congratulating you for the really terrific work you did on this project as part of Tapped Out. Jeff, Lois, tell me a little bit about how this project came about. Why did you decide to do it?
Well, thank you very much. Do you want to start, Lois, or would you like me to go?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, well, we thank you very much, Jonathan, and to the judges and all the other people competing. So this came about when Sharon McGowan, the INN leader of the Tapped Out project, approached Lois and me about possibly working together because she knew Lois had a very strong story and we had some resources at CCIJ that might help strengthen that story. So we had an initial conversation, I believe in December, and from that, we had a positive feeling and decided to move forward together.
And Lois, the story itself, where did it come from?
Well, that's a long and twisted tale, but
The Cliff Notes version.
yeah. I had gotten a tip about water being pumped out in massive quantities from around a little town called Corcoran it's just north of Bakersfield, which I'm sure your readers and viewers are all very familiar with. But in the San Joaquin Valley, massive amounts of water was being pumped out, and I could follow along and go see that it was being it's used and stored in this giant reservoir, and it was causing all these problems, including sinking the town of Corcoran. And so, in fact, I did go out and track this water and try to figure out whose it was and who was doing the pumping and, what was the effect on Corcoran, which has been sinking up to 12 feet. It's like basically swallowing the first floor of a 2-story house in the last couple of years, and why that is. And it was just became this big, huge, giant story, and I really wasn't sure how to get my arms around it. And so when Sharon contacted me about possibly being part of Tapped Out, I really wasn't sure what to do with, what to do for this project. And I went to her and said, I've got this story. I'm not really sure what to do with it. And she said, I'm going to contact Jeff Kelly Lowenstein and get him on the phone. And after listening to me ramble on about it like I am right now, they both said, we think you have a story and we think we can help you put it together. And I was like, thank God, because it was going off in all directions, and they really helped me rein it in and get my arms around it and put together what ended up being in the New York Times of all things.
And, so that I think is kind of the third leg of this stool. In addition to you two working together, you then also brought in the New York Times. Tell me how working both together, the two of you, and with a partner like the New York Times, achieved impact that, what were the impacts that you got out of this that you might not have otherwise been able to accomplish?
Well, from my perspective, sorry, Jeff, to jump in, but I'm a one-person operation, very small. SJVwater.org is growing and it gets a lot of attention. The governor's office has read my stories and all that sort of thing, but it's still, very, it's not on the tip of anyone's tongue, I'm sure. And, what CCIJ brought was, again, they helped me get my arms around it. They helped me, really shed the fat and the extraneous information. And oh my gosh, their visual team, data visualization and all that sort of thing was just, really helped hone and bring this story out. And then Sharon was the one that really contacted New York Times. So it was just a real group effort. And then of course the New York Times helped, slice and dice a little more and polish it up. And once it got in the New York Times, everybody kind of knows about it now. I mean, people who've never heard of SJV Water are saying, hey, didn't you have this story in the New York Times? Which is amazing. The reach of the New York Times just cannot be understated. Anyway, sorry, Jeff, you go.
Yeah, Jeff, how did it change things for your organization?
Well, I wanted to first of all say there was a real team effort. I didn't do too much on it. We really have it treats data, visual, and investigative elements as equal partners. And so each of the editors in those areas really worked with Lois and with Brian Christopher Jones, the photographer, to make the story as impactful as possible. Julie Dudziak, our designer, did a tremendous job in that area, Esther Herr, with the project management. The other thing I just wanted to mention was that for us, working with the New York Times and with somebody of the caliber of Lois was very affirming. Externally, we also, through our data editor, Hazel Fallis, had the work translated into Spanish. And so it ran in Spanish language outlets throughout the United States, a number of different countries in Central and South America, and also through members of our community at CCIJ in African outlets. So for us, it was a real exciting opportunity to be part of the Tapped Out project, which is very high caliber people, to work with and learn from Lois, and then to really feel like our work belonged at the highest levels in publications like the New York Times.
I want to say congratulations again to SJV Water and to CCIJ for their incredible work. And now I'm going to ask us to take a moment to remember those people in the field of nonprofit news who are no longer with us. And this brief tribute video was put together based on feedback from our members who sent in names of those in the field of nonprofit news who recently passed on. So as I share this video, we ask that you stay silent. Just take a moment together, stay silent in the chat, stay silent in your chairs. And then after this video, we're going to take a break. This would be the intermission if we were in person, and reconvene at 15 minutes past the hour. 15 minutes past the hour. I'll have a timer on the screen. But for now, I just invite you to silently witness those who are no longer with us. Thank you very much for your attention and for that moment together. And so we ask you to stay on the call, but take these 10 minutes to recharge, refresh, and we'll see you back here for the last half of our program at 15 minutes past the hour. Thank you. We'll be starting back up again in just 2 minutes at 15 past the hour. I hope you have all found appropriately celebratory snacks and beverages. I will leave that, but that is up to you. As we prepare to reconvene here, the atmosphere is electric. People are filing in and taking their seats. The lights are flashing, all that good stuff. We've got our link to our Twitter thread announcing the winners here. So if you want to share your own recognition or recognize others, please feel free to do so. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to put on gallery view again so I can see all your lovely faces in the seats here. We are in the second half of our program already. The time is just flying by. If you're on video, give me a wave, let me know how you're doing. You feeling good? We excited about the awards so far? Oh my God, Kimberly, you are my dancing master. I love it. Thank you so much. This is great. All right, well, I am so excited to bring us into the second half of the program here. If you took those screenshots earlier, you know we've got some super juicy categories coming up for the remainder of our time together, including Game Changer, Explanatory Journalism, the Emerging Leader of the Year, Investigative Journalism, and then our first ever Lifetime Achievement Awards. We are so excited to get started here. Again, keep those kudos going in the chat, keep celebrating. We love to see it. And we are here to start with our Game Changers. So these are the organizations producing innovative ideas leading to success in revenue, audience growth, or sustainable financial support of news. Envelope, please. And the first innie in the Game Changer category goes to the Dallas Free Press for a smart use of text messaging to grow readership and serve a community. So the Free Press launched its texting service in English and Spanish to residents of South and West Dallas and tries to send 3 texts a week, one highlighting a resource from their neighborhood resource maps, one highlighting upcoming community events, and one with links to their stories from the week. Residents' answers to text questions often shapes the Free Press's coverage, and the team says that they use texting as a barometer to gauge what resonates with our communities and what doesn't. I love that, a barometer. Congratulations to the Free Press for your win. And our next innie goes to Documented for their creative use of multiple out-of-the-box approaches, including layering in Facebook Live sessions with the rapid and direct responses provided via WhatsApp, showing a commitment to going where people are rather than expecting them to come to a news source themselves. The Documented team's outreach determined where the community was before working to build audience interaction on that platform. And Documented's dedication to tracking and explaining their success made their work a potential model for other news outlets, as well as ably serving their own community. Congratulations, Documented. And our next innie goes to Block Club Chicago. At a time when everyone is looking for ways to strengthen their bottom line, provide more resources for critical reporting, and build connections and relationships with their community, Block Club has put together a plan that accomplishes all three. Other newsrooms could learn from the innovative and effective way Block Club Chicago has integrated merchandise into their revenue and engagement strategies. And our honorable mention for this division is Bridge, Michigan. Congratulations as well. As a reminder, there are not honorable mentions for every category. We will mention them when there are. Our last game changer, the INI goes to the Oakland side, which could produce a master class in how to launch a truly community-centered news organization. Its attention to the community's needs and interests and the systematic effort to put the community at the center of everything the organization does is admirable and not easy. Its audience growth reflects the value of that effort. And our honorable mention goes to WFAE for their graphic novel. All right, it's time, everybody. Let me see it. The game changers, we love to see it. Congratulations. Oh man, your energy is outstanding. This is great. All right, we're gonna roll right along to the Insight Award for Explanatory Journalism. This is very exciting. So please keep that good enthusiasm up as we honor either stories or series that provided insight and understanding of a significant and complex subject. Significant and complex subject. So envelope, please. Thank you. The INI goes to Cicero Independiente. Are you having deja vu? It's because they also won for this entry in the Breaking Barriers category. So as with that win, judges noted the combination of superb multimedia and on-the-ground reporting that probes communities that can be difficult to access and cover. Congratulations. I got a whole lot of honorable mentions in this category. Planet Detroit, Mississippi Free Press, Virginia Center for Investigative Journalism. Thank you for your work and congratulations. All right. The INI for Explanatory Journalism in our medium division goes to Oklahoma Watch. One of our judges says this one passed the kid test. My 10-year-old and I were glued to the screen until the end. My kid was wrapped up in the stories of the residents, and using the vaccine as the kicker was a great hook. Compelling, beautifully written, heart-wrenching at times, and packed with insights about the real-life impact of the pandemic, policies and mandates, hour by hour, week by week, on one family-owned nursing home in a small town, their residents, caretakers, and families. Congratulations, Oklahoma Watch, the kid test, always a hard one to pass. You did it with flying colors. And we also want to recognize the Ithaca Voice and Sahan Journal in this category. Congratulations. You can see how we're so excited about all this amazing work. The INI for Explanatory Journalism in the large division goes to Resolve Philly. Our judges found this series by investigative solutions reporter Steve Volk to be amazingly well produced and reported. Volk personalizes the people behind the statistics of Black youth in foster care and shows a model being used elsewhere that helps weed out racism from the system that removes kids from their families. Congratulations, Resolve Philly. And to our honorable mentions, Bridge, Michigan, the city, and Prism for your recognition. We appreciate your work. All right, Explanatory Journalism. It's the last INI, and it goes to the Marshall Project in partnership with NPR. This coverage revealed and explained in clear language a shocking but legal practice taking place across the United States. The diversion of up to $165 million a year in federal payments from foster children, often without their knowledge. The story sparked instant reactions from state and federal politicians that could lead to needed change. In addition to revealing this little-known side of foster care funding, The series offered step-by-step guidance to foster children on how to retrieve the Social Security payments they may be owed. And the series offered policy prescriptions for how states and counties could build a more humane system, one that provides financial support for the children who often end up poor, even homeless, when they age out of foster care. Marshall Project, thank you for your incredible work. And thank you too to GRIST and for CPI in partnership with Vox for your great work. All right, get those dancing hands ready. Here we go, get your gallery view. Explanatory journalism, amazing work. So amazing. All right. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, such important work, so much to celebrate. I hope you have your afternoon champagne out. It's fine, it's an awards show. All right, next up, one of our overall categories, and this is for our Emerging Leader of the Year. Again, only one award is given out in this category, honoring an individual building a sustainable organization who models positive and innovative leadership, demonstrates a strong commitment to equity and inclusion, and a deep commitment to their community, an emerging luminary. And the INI goes to Mukhtar Ibrahim of the Sahan Journal. Mukhtar is a leader not only for Sahan Journal, one of the truly bright lights in journalism to emerge in recent times, he also has created an opportunity through Sahan Journal for the future Minnesotan majority to see itself in action in real time. And he's demonstrated for the rest of the field how to hold fast to the core principles and practices of great journalism, while also publicly articulating his and Sahan Journal's commitment to service and change. And my colleague Sarah will be introducing Mukhtar in just a moment on our recorded video, but we have to share honorable mentions in this category because they deserve to be celebrated as well. Please join me in celebrating Nisari of Borderless and Tasneem Raja of the Oakland side as our honorable mentions for Emerging Leader of the Year. Put your hands together, get your emojis going. Yes, thank you. We thank you so much for all your incredible work. And with that, I am going to hand things over to Sarah, who will be introducing Mukhtar to speak to us. Take it away, Sarah. Oh no. I'll give her audio. We'll try that.
Mukhtar Ibrahim, congratulations. You're the INN 2021 Emerging Leader of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have a few questions for you here, hoping we can share them out with some of the other members. I was wondering, when you founded Sahan Journal almost 3 years ago, what were your hopes and dreams for it? Where did you think you would be for your 4 years in the future?
Yeah, when I launched Sahan Journal, the goal has always been to provide high quality journalism for immigrants and communities of color who are undercovered in the local media. And that was a primary goal. But of course, that requires a lot of resources, a lot of planning, and that came later after I launched, which has been really an eye-opening experience for me as an immigrant and someone who doesn't have a lot of connections in the philanthropy world. It has been a bit challenging at the beginning and kind of questioned that idea of launching a nonprofit news organization in the first 6 months. But we were glad to get support from major local foundations and some national foundations to support the mission of Sahan Journal in providing more journalism to communities of color immigrants in Minnesota.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, before you took this chance and started, became an entrepreneur and a founder, you were a journalist, you were a teacher, and this was really a new career for you and a risk, like a substantial risk. You know, you're a person with a family and you had a salary before this and all those good things. What motivated you to take this leap, and sort of who were you making the leap for?
Yeah, I spent most of my career in some of the major newsrooms in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota Public Radio News and the State Tribune. And, you know, I had a good career in those newsrooms, loved my colleagues and, you know, pursued stories and breaking, you know, stories here and there. But I also felt, you know, most of my colleagues were not providing a lot of coverage for these communities, and getting out and building trust. That requires a lot of dedication, and it's intentional work. And, you know, as I was building my career, I felt those stories are highly undercovered. And when newsrooms put a lot of resources and in covering these communities, is like when something big happens, when you know, a bunch of kids leave the US, for example, or are arrested in trying to join ISIS or other terrorist groups, or when a big fire breaks out at a high-rise that's predominantly houses, you know, immigrants and communities of color, or when major breaking news happens, like the killing of George Floyd, you can see the resources that these newsrooms invest in covering those issues. But when time moves on, after a couple of months, those issues are like completely undercovered, and you feel like, you know, there are more stories to this. You should be out in the community, building the close ties and trust, and servicing, you know, authentic, more nuanced, comprehensive coverage for these communities, the way you do when those big moments happen. And that is the work that I really enjoyed the most when I was a reporter. And that's what I wanted to duplicate and make it on the front page every day, except, you know, if including when something major happens, when Sunisa Lee, for example, wins the gold medal at the Olympics, and when she doesn't win, and we are in the community providing those continuous coverage every day, like it's, you know, a big moment, for example.
So this huge step is really for the immigrant communities and communities of color, so that they're covered every day and not just when some breaking news or something terrible or something dramatic happens in them.
Yes, that's basically the idea behind Sahel Journal, to be continuously covering these communities and providing them information that truly reflects their lived experiences and their aspirations and how they're transforming the state, and, you know, the richness that they're bringing into the, you know, culture, politics, economy, and also the challenges, you know, and providing that multi-dimensional coverage for the community.
Yeah, the full richness of that experience.
Exactly.
Thank you. You made a transition that is probably relatable to a lot of INN members. You went from being a reporter to being a founder, and that's complicated. It's a big switch. There's fundraising, there's budgeting and staffing and HR, and just leading in this whole different way. What was most challenging for you about that transition, and how did you sort of find your way through it?
I think fundraising has been challenging. I mean, I knew how to do reporting and, you know, write stories, but when you are constantly worried about, you know, the payroll and making sure you are getting the right resources for the people who are doing this work every day, you know, it's a big challenge. And I truly had a good mentor, Kate Moose, who helped me a lot in the planning stages and made sure, you know, she was with me along as I was building Sahel Journal, working on grants and providing that, you know, support. So this is not something that I built myself. It's, you know, a teamwork, and surrounding yourselves with people who are smarter than you, who know this work, who have a lot of experience, is something that truly helped me as I was building Sahel Journal.
That's wonderful. I mean, I love teamwork, and I love that you have this team that came together and made this. but I think that you as a leader had to put something out there that was able to attract these talented people to you as well. You know, they don't just show up and like buy into something just because.
Right. No, they truly believe in the mission of Sahel Journal, and that's what really unites us. And you can see that work, you know, reflected on everything that we touch. So definitely having those people who are who want to put their, you know, time and energy into this will truly pay off at the end.
Wonderful. And I think sort of we've touched on this, but no award ceremony would be complete. Are there any people you want to sort of name to thank? Of course, there's too many to possibly name them all, but any people at top of mind?
Yeah, I mean, I really spent a lot of hours into building Sahel Journal. So truly grateful for the support of my family, my wife and kids for being patient as I was, you know, busy working on this project, and they truly inspired me and encouraged me along the way. Also, Kate Moose has been truly an amazing partner in this work from the beginning, and I don't think I could have done this without her support, mentorship, and guidance.
Wonderful. And do you have any words or advice for other people who are thinking like, hey, Mukhtar did this amazing thing. Maybe I want to make a step and do sort of a new kind of coverage for different communities. What do you say to those potential founders?
Don't do it. I'm kidding. But I think having don't launch something without preparing some kind of resources into it. Seek out support from, you know, people who believe in the mission. It can be major donors, it can be, you know, local foundations and all that, and just test the idea of, you know, trying to cultivate that that connections early on. Otherwise, it's just going to be really truly challenging if you don't have those resources from the get-go. And, you know, highly encourage people who are interested in launching nonprofit news organizations that will serve underserved communities to take on this work, because it will truly pay off at the end.
Thank you so much, Mukhtar. Congratulations. And I'm just I mean, I love reading Sahel Journal, and I'm so glad that you all are part of INN, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored to get this award from INN.
Congratulations again, Mukhtar. We so appreciate you. We so appreciate your work. I'm going to go ahead and share screen without showing you my notes this time, hummus. So you can screenshot if you like before we go to our last category. So again, we'll take a moment here, and as you're screenshotting away and enjoying this view, I just want to say how special it's been to hear from these winners in the overall categories, and especially hear how hard the work is, right? Mukhtar is not Emerging Leader of the Year because it was easy. He's done a lot of incredible work, as have all of our other winners today. So I hope you leave today feeling that inspiration, that challenge, and feeling inspired by the work of these incredible leaders in the nonprofit news field. And I'm going to share our wonderful honorable mentions again, so we all have a moment to gather ourselves. Now, we've got investigative journalism next, and then we'll be going to our final award of the evening. So here we are, the last division category for investigative journalism. And we are going to start with the small division. And the INI goes to Spotlight DC. Their investigation into fraud in the eviction system stood out for both its scope and significant impact. The 9-month investigation included looking through more than 13,000 pages of court records, conducting nearly 60 interviews, and reviewing hours of security camera footage to uncover more than 600 cases of questionable affidavits that informed tenets of eviction proceedings. The day after the report came out, the City Council responded to the probe by closing the loophole. So we applaud Joshua Kaplan and the Spotlight DC team for their tenacious work on behalf of their community. And our honorable mentions in the investigative journalism category include Mississippi Free Press, CCIJ, Open Vallejo, the Utah Investigative Journalism Project, and Circle of Blue. Congratulations to all for your amazing work. All right, envelope, please. And the INI goes to Colorado News Collaborative. Compelling, well-sourced, and moving storytelling that exposes misdeeds at various levels in a small community and produces tangible results that make the community a better place to live. What's refreshing about the reporting is how it includes small town attitudes as being part of the problem, because critical reporting in that atmosphere is challenging. A Google search shows all of the reporting by other media outlets comes from this project. The collab lived its mission in this report by making sure a small news partner had the resources, but also personal backing to tell an important story. Congratulations, collab, and congratulations to our honorable mentions, Midwest Center for Investigative Reporting and the Maine Monitor. All right, Best Investigative Journalism. The INI goes to Spotlight PA. Fundamental Flaws is a comprehensive examination of drug and alcohol treatment facilities in Pennsylvania that weaves in heartbreaking personal stories with extensive interviews and analysis of government and court records. Congratulations. And our honorable mentions are the Better Government Association and the Texas Observer. All right, last divisional category winner of the afternoon. For Best Investigative Journalism in the Super Division, the INI goes to ICIJ. One of the most extraordinary investigative series in the modern history of investigative journalism. The degree of difficulty is off the charts. The coordination and expertise needed to understand and explain the story is a testament to the dedication and determination of these editors, writers, and researchers. And then they top it off with writing that is both clear and dramatic. What an incredible contribution. Thank you, ICIJ. Congratulations. And congratulations to our many honorable mentions. I mean, the investigative work is just incredible. CPI, Cal Matters for 2 separate entries, the Marshall Project and the Oakland side. What an incredible job. Please join me in a big, big round of applause and emojis to celebrate this incredible, amazing work. All the claps. All right. It is time. We are going to roll into our final award of the evening, which is the first ever Nonprofit News Lifetime Achievement Award. A hush falls over the auditorium. All we can hear is the crinkle of gowns and the creak of cummerbunds. So we're very, very excited to hand things back over to Sue to present this award. Take it away, Sue.
Thank you, Bridget. This has just been an amazing hour and a half seeing all your work, and I'm so inspired by it. And it's also so fitting to follow this in this reporting we're celebrating today with INN's first award for the Lifetime Achievement in Nonprofit News, because it's going to somebody who in so many ways, spiritually, tangibly, has made all of this work possible. The Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Chuck Lewis. Chuck is a founder of INN. He's a founder of the Center for Public Integrity, a founder for the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. And today, Chuck remains a driving force. He's encouraging young journalists to enter the field, elevating their public service work as executive editor of a member, the Investigative Reporting Workshop at American University, where he's also a professor. I really encourage you, please, please go read Chuck's whole bio. It's amazing, and we will be here until night if I went through it all. But just a few things to mention. In our nonprofit context, I think Chuck is the ultimate crossover from commercial media. He built an amazing career and cut a path in commercial broadcast. ABC News, CBS. He was a producer at 60 Minutes before founding 2 Pulitzer Prize winning nonprofit news organizations. Also to his name, 6 books, a MacArthur Fellowship, posts at Princeton, Harvard, and the Reuters Institute at Oxford. And what's not in the bio, when you see awards like these a few minutes ago for news collaborations, you're really seeing the result of Chuck Lewis's vision for journalism. Chuck and a small group of journalists dreamed up INN as a consortium to save investigative reporting by sharing it as a public service. Before then, there were a few collaborations, but they were pretty few. Journalism was generally a dog-eat-dog business. Scoops could kill friendships. It wasn't like today where we are seeing this amazing impacted reach and power of journalism through collaboration. The collaborations you see are really the results of Chuck's ability to convince the top journalists in the country at a time to set aside competition and report together for the public's good. And that vision, I think, it created INN and it supported a lot of things, but I think it goes beyond that. It really changed journalism at that juncture. But I also want to say, this is not one of those legacy awards. This isn't something to award someone for something they did in the past. Chuck's work in investigative news and in nonprofit news continues, so actively. You should all know Chuck supports INN and your work every month regularly. He writes about all of you. He reaches out to see how the field's growing and how we can promote it. He celebrates your growth and what you're doing in his writings and speaking and so forth. So I wanted to also invite Lori Hearn, the founder of iNewsSource, which just celebrated 12 years covering San Diego, to tell you a little more about the difference Chuck has made for just one member and still does actively. Lori?
Thanks, Sue. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about my friend, Chuck. No one has been a greater innovator or leader in the field of nonprofit news than Charles Lewis. I can say this because in many ways, I've had a front seat on his world. I've known Chuck longer, I'm safe to say, than anyone in this room. That's because he and I went to high school together. He headed the student government and I reported on it. We went to the same college, the University of Delaware, that headed in different directions. He for broadcast, doing investigative reports for ABC and CBS 60 Minutes. I dug into the field of super local news, working for newspapers with names like the Quakertown Free Press and the Anaheim Bulletin. Chuck and I kept in touch over the decades. I remember when he quit 60 and retreated into his living room with a wife and young daughter to start something new in 1989, a national nonprofit investigative newsroom called the Center for Public Integrity. Fast forward through his Genius Grant and his starting the investigative reporting workshop, and we landed in Pocantico in June 2009 for the convening of INN. Chuck was the first one that I remember calling all of this an ecosystem. iNewsSource was part of that. We were at the founding table, and Chuck has been on our board ever since. He was a mentor to me, taking late night calls as I was trying to figure out how to make all this work, always cheerleading, but always being realistic. There was the raising money, but at the top of the list for Chuck was quality and mission. He's well known for talking about investigating the bastards. He's gotten a lot of them over the years. Thanks, Chuck, for all you've done for me, for iNewsSource, and the world at large. INN and its incredible collection of talented, passionate, and dedicated members would not be here without you. No one is more deserving of this lifetime achievement recognition. Thanks.
Thank you.
Lori, thank you. And Chuck, we know you're here. And in fact, I think it says a lot about Chuck's investment in the field. He's been here for the whole award ceremony. I saw him taking notes on your stories and watching you all. So Chuck, can you say a few words for your partners in this work and all of the people here who you inspire?
To say this is overwhelming would be an understatement. it's been fantastic to hear what was going, all this stuff that I've just listened in on in the last hour or two. And it's a real treat for me. I don't always get such treats. And anyway, I love INN. I remember we were all present at its creation and 2009, and we had there's just so much that how things have evolved now. I think you have something like 300 nonprofits, or it's a scary number. I can't even comprehend it. No, it's wonderful. But anyway, it's a very strange conversation here. I've had a lot of fun. Yes, investigating the bastards, and yes, people have tried to sue us. We had the Russian billionaire oligarchs who wanted to bring down the Center for Public Integrity, and we went to court and assigned a Republican judge. We were terrified that that would be the end of the Center for Public Integrity with a staff of 40. We got past it. It was dismissed by a judge who said that what we had done was right and that the Russians were wrong. Anyway, I've had a lot of tough scrapes here, but I've been very, very fortunate, as we all are occasionally as journalists. I've enjoyed listening to all this today. It's magnificent, the extent to which INN has grown over time, and it's humbling to watch, and it's delightful and wonderful to watch. So I'll stop. I'll quit while I'm ahead here. So, but thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Thanks for all you've done to bring this about, and the growth in the field and the great journalism coming out of it.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to wrap up today with a final celebration. We really ask all of you to come back. Bridget's going to bring us all back on gallery view. Hit your storm of emojis, your live claps, your celebrations on screen of Chuck, of all the award winners, and of yourself and each other for the great journalism you're producing in service of your communities. It is awesome to see, and we are so excited to celebrate your work. Thank you.
Well, wonderful.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, INN. Thanks, Chuck.
Hey, Sheila. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, INN staff.
All right. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goosebumps here. I'm not kidding.
Oh, it's pretty amazing to see the work out there, isn't it, Chuck?
It is.
It's
fantastic, really. Very inspiring.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I remember when there were 20.
Yep.
So congratulations and bravo.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
All right.
everyone.
Well, have a great afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We'll have lots of follow-ups. Take care. Bye. Congrats,
Bye.
Chuck.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye. Bye.